What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Realistic Career Mode. This is episode number 23, and it's also the penultimate episode of season 2 and this series as well. And I want to start today's episode off by very briefly saying thank you to everyone that has watched the series and enjoyed it as well. Of course, I did say that this was always going to be the plan. As soon as the PS5 was going to have FIFA 21 available to play, I'll be moving on to next gen content with FIFA 21, and I'm very happy to say that hopefully, fingers crossed, we should be beginning our main career mode of the year on Saturday. Now, possibly, just possibly, it might be Sunday or Monday at the very latest, but we are right around the corner for it. I do believe at midnight tonight, I might be wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, but I might be wrong here, but I think that FIFA 21 is going to be available to download on the PS5, and I'm very excited indeed. But I've really enjoyed this series. I'm glad a lot of you guys have done as well. It's the first time I've tried to keep things as realistically as I possibly can. As I talked about it before, it's very difficult to do that in FIFA Career Mode due to the absurdity of things like league tables, AI form, weird transfers for AI clubs as well. But I've done very well, I think personally, and you guys seem to think so as well. So for the first game of today's episode, in the penultimate episode of this series, it was time for the second FA Cup semi-final of the save. Got here last year, only to be beaten by Liverpool, the eventual champions, by 4 goals to 2. This time around, I did not want the heartbreak going out in the final 4. So taking on Chelsea, you'd probably say we're the favourites based on league form of both teams this season. Chelsea in the Europa League spot, us in the top 4. We started off on the front foot, looking aggressive, looking in attack mode early, and early into the game we would get ourselves the opening goal of the game. Raul Jimenez denied earlier by Kepa, converts it the second time of asking, makes it 1-0 after a brilliant through ball by the veteran João Moutinho. He asked to start this game, so I gave him the start, and he got the assist for the first goal of the game. Life in those old bones. Yeah, so Wolves in front. And Chelsea, to be fair, in this game, they were the underdogs, or so you'd think, based on the form of both teams this season. They dominated possession, but they did very little with it. Gaza was only really tested once in the second half, a comfortable save, and from that we broke ourselves, and Kepa made an easy stop on Raul Jimenez as well, and that was how the game would finish. Final score, Chelsea 0, Wolves 1. The Blues dominated possession with 70% of it in the afternoon, but only a couple of chances. Gaza made one smart save. Other than that, very little to do in our goal, as we got the victory by a goal to nil, courtesy of Raul Jimenez once again. How often is he the difference maker for this Wolves team? Well, he's done it once again on the big stage. We're heading through to our first FA Cup final of the series. We'll take on the current holders, Liverpool, who beat Man City on penalties in the semis themselves. So a repeat of last year's FA Cup semi-final, as we aim to win our only trophy of the series. It's the only trophy we can win, so of course I'll be going all out for it to try and get some sort of silverware before this series comes to an end. That will be in the next episode, and of course it will be the series finale as well, and it'll be coming out tomorrow afternoon. So yeah, into the FA Cup final, happy with that, but of course the job is not done in the Premier League. As you would have seen in the last episode after our defeat to Manchester City, there's no chance whatsoever of winning the title now, but with 4 games to go, if we win, I believe, 2 or possibly 3 of the final 4, we'll guarantee Champions League football for next season, which of course we won't be playing, but it's still nice to finish on that. And taking on Brighton, heading into the first Premier League game of today's episode on the back of the FA Cup semi-final victory. Adama Traore gave us the lead with a thunderbolt of a goal. I love the goals where it's hit with so much power, the ball. It ricochets and it springs out of the goal after hitting the back of the net. That's why for the first goal, as we took the lead through the speedy Spaniard, normally known for his assist, but this season has chipped in with quite a few goals. He almost got a second right before the break, as we still led by a goal. But on the staggered half-time mark, Brighton with their first chance of the game saw Boas Santos hold off Connor Cody and have a shot saved by Gazzaniga, with the rebound turned in by Carlos Soler, as Brighton would find their leveller. Unlikely signing, but I've talked about it before. AI transfers in FIFA Career Mode can be a bit ridiculous, but Carlos Soler with a goal. Brighton get themselves back on level terms. Bit of an unlucky goal there, with the rebound deflecting straight to the Spaniards. Brighton would find their leveller, and that was how the game would finish. So 1-1 the final score there, and you can see the league table come the end of the game. 3 games to go. We're still in the top 4, but the gap is now cut to 5 on Spurs when it was previously 7, and with 3 games to go, We just need 2 more wins or 1 win and 2 draws, and 4th is the lowest we will be able to finish. Spurs have got 3 games to go. The most points they can get from the final 3 is obviously 9. I know my maths is terrible, but at least I know that. The most Spurs can get from the final 3 games is 9 points. And of course, because we're 5 points clear right now, 1 win and 2 draws, that'll be 5 points in total, or 2 wins if you want from our final 3. That'll be 6 points. That will guarantee a top 4 place. And we look at our final 3 fixtures as well. Yes, we've got Arsenal in the final 3, but the other two fixtures being what you'll consider mostly sort of considered favourable fixtures, if you will. I felt very confident indeed that we would be able to get the points required to guarantee a top 4 place, despite the slip-up away against Brighton. And taking on Watford, I've got to say, I was feeling a little bit nervous. Heading into the hour mark, we were still deadlocked at 0-0. The pressure was beginning to get to me a little bit at this point, but I've talked about this so often, and it's a common saying on my channel, but luck will balance itself out. Against Brighton, we dominated, we should have won, and to concede the leveller for a rebound goal, so frustrating when those happen. What happens in the very next game? We score a rebound goal. Luck will balance itself out. Raul Jimenez on the volley has his shot brilliantly saved there from a very close angle, but it goes straight to Rafa, who turns in the rebound, and our big money signing for the year, our Portuguese winger, makes it 1-0, and the blushes were spared, and the pressure was relieved, and then some. Wolves in front, courtesy of Rafa, and we will double our lead with 22 minutes to go to really settle the nerves and any sort of doubt whatsoever, as Raul Jimenez does one of my favourite new celebrations in this year's FIFA, the sipping the tea Alex Morgan celebration. Didn't notice it initially, but what a finish by Raul Jimenez as well. You know, flare shots, talked about this in the very last episode, flare shots this year seem very easy to score. I didn't even mean to do that one, no, he just did it automatically as he turns in the Rafa cross, and there it is, 30 goals for the season for Raul Jimenez. As we know now, that golden boot is definitely going to be his. He'll miss out on joining the 40 club alongside Ivan Toney, but it's 30 goals for Raul Jimenez, and that golden boot is surely in the cabinet for him in his penthouse suite here in the West Midlands. But regardless, Wolves leading by 2, and with 5 minutes to go. Well, talking of flare shots, if you're going to score your first goal for the club, make it a memorable one. I always say that, and this is the first Premier League goal for Andre Silva, and what a goal it was as well. Brought him off the bench in the final 5 minutes, and what did I just say about 30 seconds ago? Flare shots being easy to score this year. Rafa turns into traffic, but then beats 2 players with a lovely little Cruyff turn, and that was glorious. And then the finish by Andre Silva, my goodness gracious me, a you Karate Kid in disguise. That was just absolutely glorious from our Portuguese forward. Wonderful technique into the back of the net. It's 3-0 Wolves, and that would confirm it. Final score, Wolves 3, Watford 0. Points in the bag. Flare shots, just going to be honest here, flare shots way too easy to score in this year's FIFA. I talked about this in a recent episode. It does feel very much like FIFA, again I think it's FIFA 18 or possibly FIFA 19, where like bicycle kicks went in like half of the time and it was really easy to score like scorpion kicks and whatnot. I've scored 2 scorpion kicks in this year's FIFA alone, and we've only just began December. Yeah, I think they're just a bit too easy to score. They're quite unrealistic, and the thing is as well, as you see 2 games to go now, top 4 is confirmed as well heading into the penultimate game of the Premier League season at home to West Ham. We're 8 points clear with those 2 games remaining, so we could lose back-to-back against West Ham and Arsenal, 40-0 both games, we'd still finish in 4th place minimum. Yeah, the thing is, right, I mean, for me, I've always been a firm believer of this. You've got to commit to one or the other when you're making a game like FIFA, right? So it's either an arcade type of game or it's a simulation type of game. So it's a real-life football sim or it's an arcade game. You can't do both, as Adama Traore scores our opening goal of the game here against West Ham. Very fortunately, we'll certainly take it. But yeah, with FIFA, it used to be an arcade game, and it worked really well. You know, between the years of like FIFA 11 to FIFA 15, it was really very arcade-like in the way the game was played. And you know, I preferred FIFA in that era. That was my favourite FIFA era. I really enjoyed it, and it worked really well. But then they changed to more of a real-life sim from FIFA 16 to present day. But I felt recently, especially in this year's FIFA, they tried to combine the two, have like those arcade moments, those sort of like flare goals there, but also try and keep it sort of realistically simulation-based, and it doesn't work that way. You got to do one or the other, otherwise it's just a ridiculous type of gameplay, and that's what I'm sort of feeling with FIFA 21. If there was ever a goal that sort of summed up FIFA 21 to me, it was this one here as well. I mean, seriously. West Ham player just just dribbling around our corner flag aimlessly with nothing to do 10 minutes before the break in the first half when they're 1-0 down. Ridiculous, as West Ham again dominate possession but do very little with the ball. Surrender it, we quickly go up the other end and Raul Jimenez dinks over the goalkeeper, makes it 2-0. I mean, it just sort of summed up this year's gameplay for me, man. Seriously, it's like you gotta do one or the other. Either keep it as realistically as possible, simulation based, or make it arcade like. One or the other, EA. You can't do both. Trust me, I know that feeling very well from experience. But that was this episode of the Realistic Career Mode, guys. So big thank you for watching. Really hope you have enjoyed. If you have, then please do drop a like. Much love to you all. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you for the season and the series finale with the final Premier League game, which will probably simulate against Arsenal, and of course the big one, the FA Cup final against Liverpool at Wembley in the finale very soon. Much love, guys. Much love.